Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where we venture our petty and ill-informed opinions about a variety of topics. Joining me, just just one co-host tonight, Tom. Tom, how are you?
Yeah, doing all right, doing very well actually, and I'm looking forward to talking all about that later.
Alrighty then, yeah, and I am also very exhausted, but pretty good as well. I spent the week working on a patio, lifting all the slabs out, raking it all, putting a membrane down and then putting the slabs back. And, I am quite exhausted now as a result. Nikki did nothing, really, and decided that she was too much in pain to come on the show tonight. So, some women just can't handle pain, I guess.
Richard Allen, jeez.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying,
But just saying doesn't make it okay. I know you're only mucking about. No, Nikki works her ass off, man, and she carries a lot of medical
Does
conditions.
she? Does she? Because I've spoken to her when she's at work, and she just basically spends the entire shift sitting in a room, talking to her workmates. So, whatever. Who cares? I'm
I'm
not
not
mad she's
convinced.
not here.
I think Nikki puts in a good effort.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So, be news to our viewers. You and I are planning a holiday together, aren't we?
We are. We're planning on going to the lakes, which is a long journey for you and a 20-minute journey for me.
Absolutely, we're coming to you because my dad and I really want to get a getaway, and we really want to. Uh, we were going to do it last summer, but then my brother passed away in April, and and our house was flooded and things like that, and that kind of dominated
Yeah, last
everything.
year kind of sucked, huh, for you?
Well, quite. Um, then so we're planning on doing it this year, this summer, but it's just where we're going to go. Now, I think I found it, Richard. The place my dad really wants to do is called Sharp Edge.
Oh, aye. Right, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So when I said Shark's Fin or something similar like that, that wasn't close enough for you to think of what Sharp Edge.
Yeah. No.
Apparently,
The way you described it was literally every single ridge in the Lake District. Okay, I maintain that.
no, I didn't. I said it was to the south, to the bottom left. Maybe if I'd have said the southwest, that might have been a bit clearer. Not that I know that it is there. Yeah. So definitely. So I mean, is that of any interest to you?
Yeah, I've done Blencathra before. Should be a fun trip.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever gone up the old Sharp Edge route though. I think I went the other way.
Okay. Well, let's check it out. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if it's dangerous. I know the ridge is quite narrow.
Well, I'm not going to be throwing you off if that's what you're worried about.
Uh, so there it is. Let's see where it is in the Lake District. Um, oh, I don't think it's nowhere near the southwest, is it? It's nowhere near. It's more to the northeast.
Yep,
Apparently, mush. Okay, then you stand vindicated, and I look like a muppet.
you do, you do.
Yeah,
But no change there.
well, quite. Um, but now might be the time to tell you about a time when I didn't look like a muppet,
All
much
right,
to
this I've
everyone's
got to hear.
surprise. Most of all, me. What happened was about a week ago,
Fuck.
my assistant principal came at my special needs school that I teach at, came to me and said, I need a favour. Next week, they're doing a deep dive into the curriculum, part of a mock stead, basically, uh, where a mock Ofsted to sort of assess how we are and where we are in things, what we need to work on, as a school generally. And they do all these series of what are called deep dives into specific areas, like a deep probe into that area of the school. And they wanted to do one into the school curriculum and its implementation, so all our lessons. And they in preparation for it, my assistant principal and a deputy principal, one of two deputy principals, did a lesson observation. They saw me do a science lesson where I was taking the kids outside, looking at a local habitat within the school grounds, and they really loved that practical approach to it. It's just the sort of thing they were looking for. So that was that hurdle jumped. Then after that, they thank you. Then that was on Monday last week. Then on Thursday, it was the big meeting. Now, to start the day, it was World Book Day, and we were doing an Olympic theme. So I came in my American football kit, and we did the mile at our school where we run around the playground basically over and over again. We didn't do a mile, but I did that in my full kit. I took a ball with me. I was chucking that around while I was running with some kids and stuff. I took it out every playtime. I didn't wear my shoulder pads and helmet for the rest of the day, just the one trip onto the playground. But otherwise, I put my jersey back on. And so when it came to this big meeting, I was there in my American football kit with big number 24 on a white jersey. And so this meeting happened. We had this external advisor, who's an expert in special needs provision, on a Teams call. And there were 7 of us teachers all lined up, ready to talk, armed with our folders and things, planning folders. Then there was, now this I didn't expect. There were the 2 deputy heads, principal, the executive principal, and 2 governors. So this room was packed, but we all spoke really well, really eloquently. She said during the meeting, you're a very confident group. You're a lot more coherent and confident than a lot of teachers I speak to. And so we're getting these beaming smiles from all these managers are all around us. And then at the end of the meeting, it was clear we'd all done well. The moderator congratulated us. Well, the school improvement partner type person, special needs expert on the Teams call. She congratulated us. A lot of the leadership team congratulated us, and we all we leapt off down the corridor buzzing. Now in education, you're often up against it. Some moments like this are pretty special and pretty rare. It's just the way it is across all of education. Basically, there's a lot of pressure. And there is in many jobs, but what then happened for me was really special. One of the assistant principals, because they met with the 3 assistant principals, weren't there, and but they'd met with them afterwards, clearly, because they came and said, because we were spoken of very well. And I'm in a meeting after school about a pupil progress meeting, something different. And one of the assistant principals was there, and she caught me and she said, you all did really, really well. And actually, you, Tom, was singled out in particular. And I'm like, whoa. And I turned my head around as if she was talking to someone behind me,
oh, God, you did the humble fucking thing.
Yeah, that thing. And then my assistant principal, Peter, he came to me and...
Dude, stop revealing deep personal information about yourself on the internet. Nothing good comes from it.
What? Because I've dropped my assistant principal's name. Oh well, it's not a child, which would be a problem, of course. But anyway, he said to me that he got me into this meeting and called me out and just to have a word. He said, "You knocked it out of the park. And don't let me ever hear you doubting yourself ever again," because I've said to him a bit about my self-belief, self-confidence issues and things. So I always doubt whether or not my best is good enough, but everything that's happened recently, whether I like it or not, is telling me that it is, because I've had a couple of good lesson observations. I was part of the team that had this successful meeting just now, and all of this is pretty rare and special for me. I harbor I put too much pressure on myself. A lot of sort of pressure that I'd attribute to other people and then my management and stuff. Actually, a lot of it comes from me. But these things are complicated. But all of the sort of imposter syndrome that I might carry and deep stuff like that, all of that has had a massive kick in the ghoulies from this. So yeah, I kind of, at this point, it's about not being complacent or not taking your pedal off the metal. It's still everything. It's still go go go, and it's still all about doing my best in every way. And there's still a lot of things I want to be better at, for sure. But I'm hoping that this weekend has just consequently felt very different internally. I mean, normally I'm putting awful lot of pressure on myself, and work feels like survival mode. It's felt like desperately chopping away at it against insurmountable odds, with a sort of an underlying feeling of just trying to stem the tide or the inevitable doom, whatever that may be, just driven very instinctively at a very subconscious level with this undercurrent. But that just is gone this weekend. It's not here. Feels so different for it, and it's simply because every part, at the moment at least, every part of my being believes that my best is good enough, and that is something worth hanging on to. Now I'm starting work with an ADHD specialist next week, who's going to help me with what's called my executive functions, and that just means if I want to do some work, it's about making that happen in a reasonable amount of time, and the strategies that I'm going to need to do that, so that when I do sit down to work, the work actually happens.
Okay, so there you go. Well, that's a good plan.
So
it sounds like you had a very self-affirmating week.
Well, yes, it was. And to be honest, I needed it. Now, I apologize if I've come across at all arrogant. I'm really not trying to be arrogant. I'm just trying to convince myself that I'm not going to be picking up a P45 anytime soon.
I mean, first of all, Tom, don't worry. I don't think you're arrogant. Well, I don't think you're arrogant because of that. Obviously, your vegan hipster ways, skew my opinion of you a little bit. But, I've always assumed you were good at your job because of all the work that you put into it. You're always doing paperwork, staying up until stupid o'clock in the morning and getting everything sorted for your kiddos.
So really, I've no reason to doubt myself. It's just there's always more you feel you could be doing.
Well, what more can you do?
No, there's I've still got a to-do list that's as long as my arm, for sure.
Well, but, I mean, we've all got to-do lists.
I'm about to crack open a really nice beer to celebrate. Have you ever? You're a real ale man, right, Richard?
Yes.
Have you ever experienced innocent gun?
No, that sounds like a venereal disease.
No, you absolute Philistine. It is one of the nicest, the most delicious real ales.
I'm pretty sure Gabby got tested for that last time she went to the STI doctor. Just saying. Gabby, have you ever had innocent gun?
No, Innis and gun.
Oh, crap. SoFlo, are you still in the chat? Before I forget.
Oh, look, let me put my bloody camera on and I can show people. They can they only see my game at the minute? Your game, sorry.
Oh, fine. I'll just mess the whole screen up.
There
you
you go. There. That is Innocent Gun. It is a gorgeous Scottish ale. Done in whiskey casks. It's amazing stuff, and I'm really enjoying it.
My game.
So no, Richard, I really recommend. What supermarket do you go to?
Sainsbury's and Asda usually.
I'd expect one of them to have it.
They do this amazing beer from the Badger Factory, like Thirsty Ferrets, Fighting Badgers, stuff like that. They're really good ale.
But you know what? I'm a massive fan. And I hate to tell you, Richard, but actually all Badger ales are vegan.
Well, now I can't enjoy them anymore. So thanks for that, Tom.
Yes, you can. They are. They just happen. They're one of a handful of breweries that never use isinglass to, which is derived from fish scales or something. They never use that to filter their beers.
Have you got me on Facebook, SoFlo?
So my favourite Badger, they don't do it anymore. They used to do one called England's Gold, and it was absolutely delicious, but they don't do that anymore. They do one called Champion or Golden Champion, and that is really good. I had a bottle of that a few days ago. They do one called, used to do a Poacher's something or other. Poacher's Choice or something like that was basically licorice flavoured, and that was amazing. They do one called Blandford Fly, or they used to. They changed all their labels, but I'm not sure which beers have come and which have gone. Hopping Hare is still around. Thirsty Ferret is still around. Which personally, I think it's rather good, but it's not my favourite. Blandford Fly is very ginger, and that's pretty good. But I think I've named most of the ones I know. Thirsty Ferret, Hopping Hare, Golden Champion, Defunct England's Gold, Poacher's Choice, and Blandford Fly. Yeah, I think that's all of them.
They're all good.
My dad recently brought me some. Actually, he brought Waitrose are big on them, I think, and they're really good. But
I usually get a variety pack of ale to try new ales. They're always pushing them.
I think what are your other favourite ales?
I like Hobgoblin.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good. I'm not sure if that's vegan or not, but I'm not going to mention that again in these conversations.
Could you stop mentioning the vegan thing? It's bad enough it exists.
Okay, I will. Let me think. I've had a couple of books called 300 beers to try before you die and stuff, but very quickly they go out of date. Some beers stop being available.
I mean, if you think about it, if this whole climate change thing because of cows is true, then vegans are contributing to global warming. So you're the bad guys.
Well, we're less bad. Everyone's the bad guy in climate change. We're just not. We're trying to be less bad. I'm going to stick with beers a minute. There's a couple of really good ones from Fuller's in London, ESB and 1845. Have you ever had a bottle of Fuller's 1845?
I have. It's quite nice.
Well, Innocent Gun is similar to that. 1845 is brilliant. Old Speckled Hen and Old Crafty Hen, Old Golden Hen as well. I don't always like golden ales, but Old Golden Hen is really good. Another one that's really good is Spitfire Gold. Spitfire is from a massive brewery that's actually very near to me called. Hang on. So my kids.
Podcast?
I'm not going to tell you, Dan. Sorry, my kids turned up. Dan, I need you to go. Bye. And
I've got a live lesson for
Richard,
you.
probably mute me. My screen.
I've got a live lesson for you. Hide your wife. I've got a knife.
God,
How old is he?
14.
Is he the bad one or the good one?
My kids are neither bad nor good. Stop it.
He's the bad one.
Anyway,
I'm just bemused as to what life lesson a 14-year-old could possibly teach a 40-year-old.
I'm not going to repeat his exact words. So hopefully you didn't hear it. It was charming stuff. So back
Wasn't
to
it? Hide your wife. I've got a knife.
That's exactly what he said. Yes, charming, huh? Back to ales. There's a big brewery near me called Shepherd Neame, and I think they're pretty major brewery in the country. They're in Faversham, not too far from where I live. I don't live in Faversham. I haven't given it away.
No, but you have before.
Well, hopefully people have forgotten. Anyway, I haven't had any turds post through my letterbox, so I seem to be getting away with it.
That's what the least of your worries. You know what the internet does to people if they're not careful? Do you know what a lolcow is?
A what?
A lolcow. Do you not know what a lolcow is?
No, I don't.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, let's see. A couple more beers that I really like. Shepherd Neame do Bishop's Finger, Spitfire, which is not my favorite, but Spitfire Gold, that's really good. And they do. They 1698. Yeah, it's another one named like Fuller's 1845. I think it's called 1698, and it's really, really good. Very rich and quite strong. It's nice dark ale, that. Oh, wait, I thought of a new Badger one. I had some coffee stout thing. That was it. I had a Badger coffee stout last night. That was really, really nice.
Yeah, coffee goes with ale pretty good, though.
It actually does. It works far better than it's got any right to.
I can't believe you've never heard of lolcows. Not everyone that used the internet knew about lolcows. That's a sort of worst case scenario of using the internet.
What is it?
A lolcow is a person who has been basically turned into a living joke. Like Chris Chan would be a good example, or King Cobra JFS.
Okay.
They've had a pretty rough time of it. It's tricky to feel bad for Chris Chan considering what he's done, but at the same time, you do kind of feel a little bad for him.
I'd need to be reminded of who he is and what he's notorious for. I recognise the name rings a bell, but that's about it.
Let's see. Who is he? He's a joke. He made the Sonichu character, which is a combination of Pikachu and Sonic. Don't know, he hasn't been sued yet. Nintendo get a little bit arsey about their characters. And he's notorious for fucking his own mother.
Oh, not literally.
Yes, literally. Quite literally.
I'd like to think it's for some reason he said it for notoriety rather than it having actually happened.
Nope. He did not say it for notoriety. He said it in a phone call that he didn't know was being recorded. Several times with no prompting.
Well, I'd like to think he's still trying to make it up to be cool. Not that that's cool, but in his twisted mind.
Yeah, no. That's totally what I would do if I wanted to be seen as the cool guy. Hey, everybody, guess what I did last night? My mum.
Not what?
No, Tom. No one would ever think that's cool.
No, probably not. Oh, well. People, huh? Jeez. Ugh.
I mean, King Cobra's all right. He's only notorious for being a drunk.
Uh-huh. I don't know. I'm notorious for making bad decisions and stupid choices and for epic failures.
Yeah. I can hear one of those epic failures in the background right now.
Oh, my son's not an epic failure. He's just
burn.
I just want to close the door between us. Hold on. Jeez. well, at least I've managed to close a door between us, if nothing more. Bloody hell. Ugh. He's just goofing around on his game with his mates.
What's he playing?
So let me think. I'm pretty sure I told you recently about one of my most epic failures was when I crashed my bike into a professor on his bike. Did I tell you that one on the show?
No. What? How did
I
you?
not?
Was he your professor?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't mine, but it was a professor at university. Did I not tell you? I'm pretty sure.
I don't see that as an epic failure. That's just one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was one of them that, could only happen to me. Well, no, it could, and it could have happened to plenty of other people. It's very typical of the sort of thing that happens to me. That's a long story short. It's riding my bike home from work, quite a fast cyclocross bike I've got, and I was ridiculous. So I took the racing line, which took me onto around a bend at the bottom of a hill to try and get a head start up it. And I was sort of going blind very fast around this corner on the wrong side of the path, cycle path. And I just came around this as I eased around this corner. Suddenly, there's this old guy on a bike coming towards me, and I just went straight into the side of him. I came off, did a forward roll, but ended up okay. Then I walked back, and then there was masses of very, very overgrown stinging nettles everywhere, and there was this pathway had obviously very recently been created going through it, and went 10 yards down this patch of squashed nettles to find a clearing, and there was this bike, and then there was another little patch extending out of that had been squashed, and then there's him lying in a heap, and I went, "I'm so sorry, are you okay?" And he was like, "What the devil did you think you were doing? Have you never heard of right on the left?" And I was just all these groveling apologies, and I said, I'll pay for all your stuff. I'm just thinking, just don't sue me. Just don't sue me. Please don't sue me. And I just groveled, and I said I'd pay for everything. And I said, "Okay, so how am I going to pay you for the damage to your bike and the clothes and everything like that?" And he said, "Well, let me give you my card and you can get in touch." And he did. He handed over. He opened his wallet, pulled out a business card, and it said, "Chair of Materials Physics, University of Kent at Canterbury." I'd wiped out a professor, and I felt terrible. And
but it's only Kent. It's not like it's a real university.
Oh, hey, I went there. You rest your case.
That kind of proves my entire point. But
okay, fair enough. So
that's probably the Gino Samuel doc you found there, Gabby.
So I emailed this guy, and again, I said, "I wish to apologise for my reckless speed and position on the Crab and Winkle Way this afternoon." And he wrote back in the most. I've kept a printout of this email. It's in a scrapbook, or as I call them, my crap books. It's in there, and it's all "Your apology displays an integrity of character that I can only applaud. I have no wish to impose draconian penalties." It was a work of art. These emails from him.
Draconian penalties. Bloody hell.
That's word for word. Yeah, he said, "I have no wish to impose draconian penalties."
That's quite a harsh threat, Gary. I'm not gonna put that out there in the world.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, and leave. Absolutely. Are you not reading the chat?
Me? No. What am I missing?
Yeah, don't read the chat.
What? Don't read the chat?
Yeah, don't read the chat. You probably found the Gino Samuel documentary, Gabby. That's like 80 episodes long. And we still haven't gotten to the bit where he fucks his own mum. So that just tells you how documented Chris Chan is. All right.
Why don't you tell us about EastEnders? What have we been missing this week in East Bloody Enders?
I'm trying to think. Right, yeah, Whitney and Zach. So we've cut away from the whole murder plot to find out what Whitney and Zach have been up to. They went to Milton Keynes to see Bianca. And Bianca was in it for a couple of episodes, which I wasn't expecting at all. Nice to see her. For those of you who don't know, she used to be in it like 20 years ago. Probably
Who?
longer than Bianca.
Oh, what, Ricky and Bianca?
Yeah, Ricky and Bianca.
Okay. So what, she's come back, has she?
I think it was just a guest appearance thing.
Okay.
And Zach and Whitney are on the rocks again. You know, Whitney wants to look after a street urchin she found. And Zach wants her to pay attention to the baby. And, it's just more. So it was pretty dull, actually. I'm not going to lie. I did not get a lot of enjoyment out of this week's EastEnders. I mean, we've got this whole murder plot going on. And we're cutting it out for these B stories that I don't care about.
I think they're just trying to drag the murder plot out longer. That'd be my best guess.
And, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Everybody who knows anything about EastEnders know that Whitney's actress has quit. So she's leaving. So it's even more inconsequential, this storyline. So just,
Eek. Oh, well, that sounds, rather boring. I mean, I'd watched a few episodes recently, as you know, and I was not hooked. I was not interested. I have to keep devoting 2 hours or so of my life every week to this, or whatever it takes. I mean, it just really, an hour and a half maybe. It really wasn't. No, did not float my boat.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not for everyone. It is a shameful addiction for me. Much like your veganism is for you.
Oh, it's you bringing it up there, not me, you bastard. What's your bloody problem?
It's immoral is my problem. You're contributing to the death of the planet.
No, not as much as people who eat meat are.
No, we're killing the amount of cows in the world, which is putting a stop to the damage they do to the climate. You're prolonging their lives.
You're breeding that many of them in the first place.
We wouldn't. If, everyone ate meat, then they'd be all gone.
Never.
Do you know where cows come from?
I'm not even taking this seriously. This is daft.
Do you know where cows come from?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they're native animals in many places in the world.
Yeah, they used to be called oryx, and they used to be a lot bigger. And we domesticated them, and they've gotten smaller over time.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened to polecats as well. We domesticated them and made ferrets, and they got smaller.
Oh, ferrets are cool.
I do love a ferret.
I love ferrets ever since I was a kid, and I watched an episode of Last of the Summer Wine where Bill Owen's character Compo did he went on a talent show doing impressions of someone called Maurice Chevalier, who I've never heard of before or since. I probably looked up the Wikipedia article at some point. And the episode was called The Last Surviving Maurice Chevalier Impressionist. And he was confident because he had his lucky ferret down his trousers. But of course it escaped and ran around the set and drove everyone bananas.
As somebody who has kept ferrets, I would not put them down my trousers as a rule. I'm just saying. Number one, they will get out. They are master escape artists. And number two, the damage they could do down there, I don't even want to think about.
So, I mean, to fill everyone in, is there somewhere in Yorkshire they have these annual games, and part of it is sort of an endurance test, how long you can survive with two untamed ferrets down your trousers?
Probably. It sounds like there's something dumb a Yorkshire person would do.
Is Yorkshire sort of does it border Cumbria? Maybe not quite.
I don't think so. I think there's 2 counties between us and Yorkshire.
Yeah, Durham maybe.
Durham's between us and Yorkshire, and I think it's on the east coast, isn't it? So Northumberland as well, probably.
Yeah. It's my geography as you get further north is a bit sporadic. I do love we've got a big holiday coming up where we're going to we're going to relatives of mine who live near Newcastle, which is probably to the southeast of you.
Yeah.
And,
no, it's directly east. Newcastle is directly east from me.
Oh, right. Okay, well, that's where we're going. We've got relatives up there. We're going to go and hang out with them for a few days during the Easter holidays. Game on.
Good times.
Looking forward to it, yeah.
I am going to make a big roast dinner for Easter Sunday.
Oh, yeah?
And probably a carrot cake as well. I love roast dinners, but the older I get, the worse for me they become, so...
Why?
I have to. Well, there's a lot of fried food, roast potatoes. Yorkshire puddings are really bad for you.
Oh, Yorkshire puddings are great. Aldi were lame. They were meant to do vegan Yorkshire puddings. It was on their brochures, and we never found them in store. We were not amused on Christmas Day at our lack of Aldi vegan Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah, you can make them. It's pretty easy. You just use vegan butter instead of eggs.
Egg is a bit of a raising agent. I don't know how they'd raise.
You'd have to use yeast.
Oh,
wait,
maybe.
no. Yeast is alive, isn't it? You couldn't use yeast.
Yeah, we eat yeast.
You can't. It's alive.
It's not in the animal kingdom, I don't think. It's a microbe.
It's completely alive.
Well, we eat yeast. We allow
ourselves... Well, see, hypocrites. You're killing yeast.
We do. That's how we're allowed to eat beer and bread, because we do eat yeast, because it's a microorganism. It's not an animal.
Oh, it doesn't count. All right.
Yeah. That's what it doesn't count. I hate to say it, but you've got me here. Yeah, you're correct. It doesn't count. Like plants.
That sounds like racism. That's racism. You are racist towards microbes.
Well, because we're prepared to murder them.
Yeah.
God. Oh, man. I feel like a Nazi. No, I don't. I do not.
Well, you are a Nazi. You have death camps. You have, like, those little tubes of yeast. That's a concentration camp. And then, you put them in your food, which is gassing them in your showers. You are a Nazi.
This has suddenly taken a very bad turn for the worse in terms of...
Yeah, exactly, Gabby. Plant life doesn't count either.
No, it doesn't. That's what we do eat.
I'll say this for vegans. They're not as bad as Episcotarians, because no Episcotarian has ever been able to tell me why a fish's life is less valuable than any other life.
Yeah, that's... I don't know.
Can't eat dirt. There's so many microbes in dirt, Gabby.
What? We've got 20 minutes. What else were we going to talk about? Anything cool? What's been going on in the news?
In the news? I don't know. I don't watch the news.
No?
It's the easiest way to get depressed is to watch the news.
I've got a story for you. This is ridiculous. Okay.
Right.
Okay. You give me a second. I'll see if I can find it, because this was special. Okay. See if I've got a Chrome tab with it open. I should have. Okay. Come on. Oh, here we are. Right. Okay, Richard, let's find the exact quote. Who said, I would be tempted to punch any Ofsted inspectors who were rude during school visits.
Harry, where the fuck are you?
Who do we think said that? Oh, what? You can hear my kid.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was perfectly timed.
Well, yes, but anyway,
I don't know. Probably the Prime Minister.
It's not. You're not far short. It was the Education Secretary, Gillian Keegan.
The Education Secretary said that. See,
Yes.
This is why I don't watch the news.
Absolutely.
It's just.
I mean, it's.
These are the people in charge, and there's nothing we can do about it. We have to get everybody together for a revolution, and nobody's going to be willing to do it because we've all been trained to hate each other. It's so depressing.
Yeah, politics really is, and it's. Mike Short here. This is a good one. Mike Short, Unison's head of education, and that's where a lot of Ofsted inspectors. That's their trade union. Because they're not in the NEU or anything, because they're the enemy of the NEU in some ways. They're certainly opposed on a lot of things, and Unison are their union. And they said, Mike Short, the union's head of education, said, clearly there's much that can and should be improved in the way Ofsted inspections are carried out. But to suggest punching people is an appropriate reaction is not becoming of a government minister. And it really isn't. That is terrible. Making light of violence in school when staff are increasingly likely to face assaults while doing their job is in very poor taste. Ofsted inspectors are already dealing with a great deal of hostility while they work. So much for showing respect. Yeah. So it's unbelievable that I think it's unbelievable that someone from the government can come out with that. I really don't get it.
Well, what? I'm sorry. Do you not remember Boris Johnson's reign of terror as Prime Minister, where he flagrantly destroyed the COVID regulations?
Oh, there was a really good TV program about that. That was nuts. Oh my God, that was so pious. And well, not pious, that's the wrong word. So self-absorbed, so arrogant, so uptight. He deliberately he was found guilty of deliberately misleading Parliament. Not accidentally or not, but intentionally and deliberately, maliciously doing that.
I'm sure that's the least of his crimes.
Oh, he's a nasty piece of work in many ways. Oh dear.
He was on EastEnders, So
What, Boris Johnson?
Yeah, he did an episode. So is Prince Charles.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure I knew that. Oh, okay. Oh, my cat's turned up. The trouble is, she's asking for food, but there's food in a bowl. She's lying.
That's what cats do. That's actually a pretty good stopping point for this week, I feel.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from Tom. Good
night, everybody. Cheers.